No energy drinks. Shit. Bye, Raven. Have a good day, girl. You need to be finished. I got other shit to do today.
Already toasty.
Good morning, guys. It is a dreary Monday morning. I am off all this week, so I am headed to Powder Coat this morning. I'm going to go see Joe and drop everything off. But first, I just realized my hand's empty. Missed an energy drink. First stop first. So let's go to Rite Aid, believe it or not, because that's the closest thing to me. Go figure. Good to go now. As I was saying earlier, heading up to Powder Coat. Going to be about a 45-minute to an hour drive, so I figured I'd throw the GoPro in the car and just talk a little bit. See what it's on everyone's mind. I guess it'd be more like a vlog style this time, so just want to see what's on everyone's mind. If you hear the metal ting, that is half the parts that are in my car. I've got the radiator in the back to get powder coated, but the rest I put up here just because I don't want them sliding around and banging against each other in the trunk. If I put them a little bit closer together up here, I thought it would help, but it doesn't seem to be doing shit. Heading up right now. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? I got it. I know what we can talk about today. What made me want a Supra? What got me into Supra? So I've talked already why I've got into cars. I explained that before in a past video, which I'll post below. What got me into cars, how I got there. Well, why do I have a Supra? What made me buy a Supra? What made me get to this point? And hold on, I gotta move this shit, because if it tings the whole time, it's gonna drive me nuts. So what got me into Supra? So first and foremost was Fast and the Furious part of it. Yes, to a point, but it comes back again to my grandfather. He was a big Japanese guy, was big into Japanese cars, and I'm like, you know what, let's see what's out there. First I wanted Hondas, then I got my Celica, and I was like, okay, I'll be a Toyota guy. And then I was like, what's the Mac Daddy of all the Toyotas at the time? And that was the Toyota Supra. My grandfather has talked about it. He always put it up as a holy grail car. Pretty much said it's one of those cars you can't afford, it's way too expensive, etc., etc. So in my eyes, I never really saw myself ever owning one just because I saw how expensive they were. Fast forward to, say, 2011. I've been begging and looking and trying to find people to sell theirs to me, and I couldn't find any anywhere. I finally posted on Facebook to have friends help me out in late 2010, early 2011, saying, guys, if there's anything out there, please help me out. Send me some links. I don't really want to spend a certain amount of money. I knew it was going to be non-turbo, as I didn't want to spend more than $20,000 at the time. My friend Derek Wiles sent me a Craigslist link to a silver Celica, a silver Supra in Northern Virginia, Manassas area to be exact. So I look at it and I'm like, perfect. It had black leather interior, it was target top, and every aspect I wanted. And I go down, call the guy, and he says, yep, you can come down and see as soon as you want. I went ahead and got financing for it through my local bank. Drive down with my friend in his Bentley, which I had been telling this guy all week long that I was like just barely gonna have enough money for it, blah, blah, blah. I show up to this guy's house, he's like, what the fuck is this? You're rolling up in a Bentley, and here you are poor-mouthing, saying, oh, I don't have the money, but that's another story in itself. Show up, go over the car, and it's a little bit rougher than I thought it was going to be. He told me about some of the damage, but it had hail damage. The front and rear bumper were cracked. The front bumper had 6 different drill marks in the front bumper. The target top was a little wonky. The seals are ripped in it. It was just completely dirty. And then he tells me this is his junk car. He's got all these hot rods, all these custom motorcycles. For me to find out that this is his junk car, so all right, all great. So we get there, and I get him talked down to say $11,000. So I get him down to $11,000 for the car, cut him the check, and I'm good to go. I'm rolling out, and I couldn't be any happier. I had my dream car, the car I thought I would never own. As I'm rolling down the road, I have my friends both back in their Bentley, and they're both texting me saying, hey, can I drive in the car? They're in a $500,000 vehicle, and they want to ride in my POS Supra, in my opinion. He's got the nicest car on earth, and they both want to be in my car. That just shows, in my opinion, how sought after, how neat this car is in itself. I guess it's like any of those Japanese cars from the 90s, the 3000 GT, the RX-7, the NSX. Those cars are so sought after and such holy grail cars in the Japanese market. They're just so neat. Yeah, very cool car. Soon after I got the car, I was like, all right, I need to start modding it. I told myself before this I would never really mod a car. So when I had my Celica, I put an intake and exhaust on it. When I had my Lexus, I had an intake on it. I never really did much of those cars. Now, I was into cars and I liked modifying. The problem for me was I like cars, but what's the biggest problem with every car when you modify it? You lose the money. You lose every bit of money you put into it. And for me, I couldn't ever swallow that bullet unless it was a car I knew I was going to keep. Hence, I bought the Supra, and I've had it now for almost 6 years, and I've yet to sell it. So I don't ever plan on selling it, and I don't mind dumping money into it because I know, one, it keeps going up in value. If it keeps skyrocketing, hell, I'm going to keep dumping money in because, hell, it's never going to go down. Number two is it's my dream car. I know I'm not going to get rid of it. At least I don't think I am. So I'm pretty happy with the car. So soon after I got it, I called up MVP Motorsports, and first thing I did is called Robert and said, I need an HKS exhaust. He goes, great. That'll be 3.5 months wait. And I'm like, you guys say you keep it in stock. Well, that's changed. HKS USA in 2011, I've got the car in like June, July. I ordered it in July. Early August, HKS USA, out of business. Fuck. So I have to wait 3.5 months if I can even get it from Japan, because no one had a dealer network set up for Japan. Everyone was buying directly from HKS USA, so no one had contacts in Japan. So I got lucky. It did take only 3.5 months, and I got my exhaust, and I was like, all right, now the car sounds good. Then I got a mid-pipe. All right, now it's lower, so I got coilovers. Then I got sway bars from Titan Motorsports, and I kept buying and buying and buying, but I was like, all right, I'm not going to do the motor swap until the car's paid off. So I paid the car off in like 1.5 years. All right, now it's time to swap the motor. Go out to New Jersey. Hold on, cop. And drive out to New Jersey and meet with this guy, Mike. He had an engine he had in his MK4 Supra that he was selling that he no longer needed. He had actually bought another twin turbo motor setup for his car, but this one had already come with a V160 and everything, and he figured he'd start with a fresh build. I got the engine, seemed to be no issues, already had a single turbo setup on it, and he only wanted $1,700 for this thing, for a non-VVTi engine, which is unheard of. I ended up selling all the turbo kit stuff, everything off of it for $1,700, so I got the engine for free pretty much. And then I started taking it apart, replaced the valve covers, put the OCD Works valve covers on it, didn't do anything internally, because I was just too new to it. I just wanted to swap the motor, get it in, got my tweaked harness, plugged everything up, boom. Ran, but ran like shit. So I have it running, I'm going along, and I'm like, why does it like lope at idle? Why is it loping like it has a big cam? I know it doesn't have cams in it. I know for a fact it has stock cams. And when I'm trying to start it, it wants to backfire and sputter. Here to find out, Tweaked Performance was kind enough into the map sensor. 2 of them were pinned backwards, causing the car to run a 100% duty cycle at idle. Yeah, lucky I didn't wash out the rings. So I got that all taken care of. I had my buddy Mitch and Chris come over. They ended up diagnosing after 20 hours. Tweak was kind enough. They did pay for both the map sensors that were burnt out because they were just ran too hard. And they also gave me another $100 on top of it. So it did end up working out. I'd rather not have to go through all that, but it is what it is. Got the car running, was enjoying it for a while, running on the stock ECU. I drove it like that for about 8,000 miles, 9,000 miles. Problem was I was on stock injectors also. When I would floor it, I could only rev it to about 57, 5800, and I'm out of fuel, and I didn't want to take any chances. So I went ahead and invested in, my buddy was selling an AEM Infinity 8H. This had all fail-safes built in. It's a very small ECU. At the time, I'm not sure if it still is, it was the fastest computing ECU on the market. So faster than Motec, Haltech, ProFi, etc., etc. So I was like, great, this thing should be anything I would need for the next 10 years, even though I'll probably upgrade anyway just because I can't keep anything simple. So I'm like, great, I'll get this. Go ahead and order a patch harness from Electric Wiring, get that in, put it in the car, and it won't start. I'm like, great, now what? I have the injector set up correctly, I have the correct base map, why won't this thing start idle? Patch harness had 2 wires backwards now too. I forget which 2 they were to be exact. I was just one of those pissed off days. So I fixed the wiring, called the guy, helped me out, walked me through it, depinned him, repinned the harness, bam, now the car starts idling and driving. Only issue I've ever had to date with it was I could never get the AC to work. Well, I shouldn't say now it does work, but at the time I couldn't get it to work, and that drove me nuts for a while until this past summer I finally figured it out. So that brings us to where we're at now, that I said, you know what, I want to tear it down again. I moved into my new house. I want to do something else to it now. I want to try something new. So I moved into the new house and decided to tear it down. I want to do a fresh rebuild, take all the oil pans off, take the head off, get it decked, put cams in it, And that brings us today, guys. You've seen half the videos, you know where I'm at. I'm not gonna be overkill here and go over everything, but yeah, that brings you to where I'm at, and I fucking love this car. I love everything about it. I enjoy all the time I have with it. I've learned so much from it. I've had a lot of headache with it. My wife has learned a lot. She's gotten really pissed off at me because of it. So, I mean, there's a hate-love relationship with it, but I don't think I'll ever be selling it anytime soon. You know what, guys? Let me know about your car. What's your dream car? What's the first car you've owned that you've been in love with? Or what's the car you still desire to own one day? Let me know. Subscribe to my channel, guys. Share the shit out of this, and let me know what y'all think. Have a great day.